Right. Shalom, 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 everybody. This is the man formerly known, still getting used to that, the man formerly known as Ivan the Trinity of Water, now known as simply Al. So I was listening to Joseph Murphy's The Power of the Subconscious Mind, the audio. I love audio. My mind tends to catch on much better with audio. So as I'm listening to it, a great listen, it gave me the idea for a really good show, really good topic. So the topic of today's show is mental consent. Now let me dive into what I mean by that. So as a youth, when you're a child, you don't have, when you go to the doctor and other aspects like that, you don't sign the consent form. You notice you always have to give consent, because if anything is to happen, that paper is there for logistical purposes. So as a youth, as a child, you don't know better. So your parent or your legal guardian is the person who will sign that consent for you. Now, what about mental consent? Imagine, and this isn't an age, imagine how many people, could you possibly imagine how many people go to their grave not knowing this brilliant concept. Now, it's a brilliant concept, but just as food, it could heal you or it could possibly kill you. It's the power of and it's much more in depth than this, but we're going to simplicity, but it's the power of your subconscious mind. All suggestions, when people suggest certain things, whether good or bad, and how you receive, comprehend, and let them enter into your body. Meaning, when do you become of age where you discover that no matter what a doctor says, no matter what a lawyer says, no matter what your friends or family say, no matter what they suggest, it's simply a suggestion, and you govern your own body. And consciously, you can either accept that suggestion and let it enter into the heart, go to the subconscious, and the subconscious immediately gets to rolling, or you can reject that suggestion and it's just forgotten about. I don't accept that. So here's the thing. Like I say, it's brilliant, wonderful thing to know, needs to be spread. I'm sure a lot of people might be aware of it. And even if you're aware of something, you still need to practice it constantly, even more than daily, if possible, until you really just master that and master governing your own body, your own mind, and what you let enter into your heart as truth. Whether that's doctrines, whether that's people, whatever it might be. So let me give a great example. A lot of people talk about milk, right? And this is cow's milk, whole cow's milk, real cow's milk, with the red little label most of the time. And at first it was said milk makes the body good, right? Milk had you having 20-inch biceps and big triceps and all that good stuff. And then a little later down the line, and I call it like the new age era, is what I call this. Maybe around 2017-ish, I would say, they said milk was horrible for you. That that any milk from an animal is horrible. That the only milk that should be drunken is from a woman. The woman's breast milk. That's milk. That's real milk with all these cell salts and nutrients that's needed. I agree with that. I agree. I truly feel that a woman's breast milk is one of the most, if not the one most nutrient dense and great milk you can drink. or just substance, period. However, I can't go to Myers and say, okay, I want to get some breast milk, please. And knowing where that milk came from, that ins and out checks. So until then, I don't drink my milk. Now sometimes I can put a little milk. I put honey in it. The land flowing in milk and honey. Hence the name. But seriously, I'm gonna drink my milk. They say 1 out of 3 people are lactose. Maybe I'm 1 out of those 3, but it has always done well for me. It doesn't cause any weight gain. It works for me. The Seeing Gospel of Peace, it states that any milk that comes from an animal is good for drink. So when it was, I believe it was volume 1, maybe possibly 2, when it was stating different things that's good for the body. So, conclusion of this example, this long example, what you perceive. So if you say, okay, well, you might say, I used to be able to drink milk all the time when I was younger, and I thought it was good for me, but it started giving me gas, it started bloating me, and I thought it was good. So you didn't accept the narrative that milk was bad, but it still did something harmful to your body. This happens. When this happens, this is your body speaking to you. Call this divine intervention is what I like to call it. So it means it's either a season where you need to stop drinking milk, or you just need to cut it out, period. That's the same for all foods. Sometimes your body will do that. Your body has a voice as well. Aches and pains. That's why they call it dis-ease. It's not a such thing as disease. It's your body at dis-ease. It's not at ease. So sometimes something that you've done your entire life up until, let's say, 30, 40s, maybe possibly 50s, your body no longer serves your body. And sometimes your body is more intelligent than you. When people don't serve you and it's so hard to get rid of them, raise my hand with that, your body just begins to reject it, and you have to take the hint. So with that being said, when someone suggests to you, whether it's a psychic, not knocking anything about psychics or mediums, sometimes as you're learning and you can't go directly to source, you need a medium, and sometimes speakers. I'm serving as a form of a medium, you might say. However, the difference is I don't like to, without your consent. I don't want to say something, or why they call psychiatrists. Some people call psychiatrists rapists, mental rapists. And I always wondered that. It's because an idea could either come through your frontal lobe or your back lobe, entering in through the back door. So certain words, terminologies, phrases are ways of entering in through the back door. It's really prevalent actually on the internet. A lot of people out here like the F formula and things of that sort. So for men, to help men get women and vice versa. But I like to just do it naturally. That's why you see I don't have a paper and editing and all those things. I like to let nature kind of just take its course and let things flow. So, and let you make up your own mind. I'm really big on self-empowerment, the empowerment of self. So you can make your mind up. You can say, okay, based on what I've been living, how does this, interact with my life? Based on a feeling that I get, how does this make me feel? You understand? And it differs for each individual. We're all individuals, and we all have the power within. So as I was stating earlier, the discovering that power and growing that power is really what I feel we're here to do. That no one can lead your journey for you. That you can be empowered by others. You can be motivated by others. You could, because it's really just remembrance. Others might stimulate certain aspects of you to put you in a place of remembrance of things that you need to know along your journey. But at the end of the day, what you decide is factual and not factual is up to you as the individual. You're the individual expression of God, of source, of whatever makes you feel comfortable. So, because at the end of the day, whether you believe this or not, if you don't believe you give an account at the end of your life, you definitely give an account of what you did with your time, your resources, at the end of actually each day. You can take money, for example. When you get your check, okay, are you living check to check? If you give an account for it, it's some people call it cause and effect. So you can simplify it or you can make it complex, but you give an account, and no one as adult. That's why I said as adult, giving your mental consent. That it's only on you. No one else, only on you. So let's go to logic. So let's logically go to what would you accept then? And I'm speaking a little fast because I don't know how much time I got left on this phone, but what would you accept? So why would you accept anything that's not of love, unconditional love, that's not of health, that's not of wisdom, that's not of the betterment of what you're here for in your purpose? So anything else is what? It's really a distraction, or it's a hindrance. Some might even be a test. But remember, that's the thing, just remembering you have the power to either accept it or to reject that statement. So just go straight to keeping it simple. Someone comes, they say, you're, matter of fact, I'm gonna use the example of my life. I'm telling, my story, sharing my story. Let's use the example of my life. I was, as I'm sure you're familiar with if you watched any of my shows, I was, overweight, pretty bad, really obese, just like 6-7 months ago. And I was about to I was already 40 actually. I was still 40. It was around January. Someone says, well, man, you're 40. That's to be expected. That's what happens as you age. So as I begin my road to becoming my best version, I could have accepted what that person said. And they weren't saying it to be, mean or anything like that. They were overweight. And it probably makes them feel better about themselves. Like, this is what happens as we age. And also that's kind of what we see when we look around. But we can choose to not be the norm, but to be the example. And that's what you always want to be. If it never happened before, that's exciting. That means you can be the first one. So, and of course this, it's plenty of, I know people in their 50s that's chopped and looking young. So I'm not saying that, I will be the first. But what I am saying is I did not buy into that narrative. I said I'm going to make a change, I'm going to make it happen, and that's what I did because I rejected the statement that, oh man, you're about to be 40, that's what happens, that high blood pressure happens, that, Bruce Lipton, another good guy to listen to, he speaks of epigenetics, above genetics, meaning it's above that's above biology, your biology. And he has a great book called The Biology of Belief, meaning, yes, like 20% is going to be physical, your biology, your genetics given by your mother and your father, but 80%, which is beautiful, is your beliefs. Your beliefs. So just as I stated earlier about the milk, okay, sometimes that 20% kicks in and your biologist says, no, that's not for me. It rejects it, and that can happen. But that 80% of beliefs that is so beautiful of the things that you can make happen. Staying positive. I understand things happen, but always remember, y'all, it's not about what happens, it's how you perceive what happens or what is happening. And when you can perceive it in a way of, okay, lessons, blessings, how can I, even if heartbreak, whatever it is, how can I turn this into something? How can I transmute it into something positive? That, okay, it was sent to me for a reason. Okay, how can I overcome it and then share it with others? So when you hear people say, okay, I thought at the time it was the worst thing that could ever happen to me, end up being the very thing that put me where I needed to be. And you hear it often in success stories. So become one of those success stories. We are stories, our stories. We have stories to tell. We are individual expressions of a source, a divine spark, a divine source. And the more we tap into that, the more that fire burns, the more of your light shines, and the more momentum that you get. So hopefully this touched someone today. Stay positive. Remember, you as an adult, be an adult in spirituality, meaning be an adult on what you receive mentally, mental acceptance. So just like physical consent, what they call rape, if a man and a woman, especially nowadays, try to take something sacred, because you are sacred, and they're trying to take something that's physically sacred, and you say no and they take it, that's against the physical law. So the same way, and I'm not judging, I have that, that's not for me, I've done way too much to judge, but if the same way, whether it's through magic or certain types of magic, whatever that might be, someone takes your mental consent, it is laws, it's spiritual laws against that. So just like I say, you can only control what you perceive, how you perceive it. You can't control everything. So no matter what is thrown your way, whether spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, so on, the way you perceive it is what counts. So enjoy your day, make it a good one, and how I end every show, love.